time where the movie started, facing at a photo they've taken. Space tree flying through the skies and petals happen.
Hello friends, welcome back to SS Kitchen, and today I'm going to make one of the Turkish desserts or Turkish sweets. It's called baklava. So we're going to start with making the mixture for the baklava. These are mixed nuts. I have used almonds, walnuts, macadamium, and cashew nuts in here, and I have some powdered almond as well. So just to make it all stick together, I'm going to add honey into it. So it's going to be all nice and sticky. And we're going to make this recipe in two parts. One where we're going to set up our baking pan with the dish, and the other one where we're going to make the syrup for it. So this is the filling. It consists of mixed nuts, as I mentioned, and honey. And just for my own favorite taste, I'm going to add some cardamom powder to it. It's very little of it. And I'm just going to mix it all together now. Yeah, so I'm just going to mix this all together with honey and cardamom. And we want it to all be very nice and sticky. So you can start off by adding a little bit of honey, but then you can, as long you go and mixing this, you can add more honey to it so it becomes all nice and sticky. And this is really nice dish. It's very flaky, full of layers. We use Filo pastry for it. And when you go to the Turkish restaurants or even the kebab shops, you see this the sweet there, baklava, and I always used to think that it's so hard to make, but it's not that hard to make. It's really easy to make. It's just layers and layers of the pastry and centered with some filling. So the filling is the one thing which makes it all nice. Traditionally, it's made with pistachio, but you can just fill it up with any nuts that you like. So you can see that we started off with some very dry nuts. Now it's all very sticky. So I'll show you. You can see it's all very sticky now. And once this is done, we'll get started on lining our pan for the baking. I already got my oven preheating on 160 degrees. I'll leave the heating instructions in the description. Okay, so here we got the store-bought Filo pastry. I'm going to put my pan here. This is the one which we're going to use, and I'm going to cut the pastry in this size. I think I've got enough of this, and let's just make a big cut here. And there we go. I'm gonna put this one aside, and we're going to start off with this one. So take your pan. Okay, I need to bring it. So take your pan, and here we have a melted butter. I've just melted it in the microwave. I'm going to take the spatula and line the bottom of the pan. Okay, let me bring my camera a little bit more closer so you guys can have a clear look of this. Okay, I hope it's visible enough. Now, I have already put butter at the bottom. Just going to take the first sheet and put it like this. And more butter. Each layer with butter. So this is we're going to do until we are satisfied with our first layer of the sheet. Okay, let me do this. And Now the first layer of the pastry is lined properly. What I'm going to do, I'm going to just put this mixture in here now. And we're going to press it to every corner of it. Sorry. Okay. This layer is done. We're going to do exactly the same thing which we did with the first layer. I'm just going to add some butter on here and start putting a top layer on it. So doing exactly the same thing, buttering each layer and then putting it all together. So we're going to just do this now and then we'll get started with the second part of the recipe. That we have finally lined our pan with all the Filo pastries, what we're going to do, we're going to cut them now. Otherwise, once it's fully baked, you won't be able to cut them without the Filo flying in the air. Okay, so I'm just going to make the cut here, and also because the second part consists of the syrup, so we need space for the syrup to go through. I think it is, yeah, there we go. And like this. That's why the butter in each layer is very important, because it's going to stick the pastry. I'm just going to take this one off. And yeah, straight to the bottom. And there we go. I'm just going to line this one. Okay, so this is ready to put in the oven now. I'll show you and we'll see you inside the oven. As mentioned that I've already preheated the oven, so I'm just going to put this in now and leave this for half an hour. Now we'll start with the second step of the recipe. We're going to make the syrup. So I'm just going to heat my gas, and we're going to add 2 cups of water, 1 cup of sugar, and some honey. Okay, and also we're going to add the zest of the orange. So I'll show you everything on its way. Let's start by adding our water. So as I said, I'm going to put 2 cups of water. Okay. And we're going to take 2 cups of sugar. I'm just going to get the sugar. Sorry, 1 cup of sugar. So here it is, 1 cup of sugar. And now the most important ingredient is honey. That's what's going to make the syrup nice and sticky. So we're going to add lots of honey into it. And the next thing we're going to add is zest of 1 orange and the juice of 1 orange. So I'm going to quickly add the zest. Traditionally, they do add orange blossom water, but I'm not going to add it because we're adding the juice of 1 orange, so that should be enough. It gives the syrup a bit of a zesty flavor, especially the zest, because the outer side of the orange has more flavor than the inner side. So here we added 1 zest of this 1 orange. Now I'm just going to put the juice of this orange. I don't have that orange juicer, so I'm just going to use my lemon squeezer. Okay, there we go. That's half done. And I'll put the other half in here. Let me just adjust this. And there we go. The other half is down as well. So now we're just going to wait for the syrup to cook. Once it's cooked, then we're going to put this aside to get it cool, and then we're going to wait for the baklava to come out of the oven, and we'll put everything all together. We have our baked baklava and the syrup that we made. So syrup is right here. What I've done with the syrup, I've added just a little bit of more cardamom into it and the honey to make it more thicker. Let me just grab a spoon and I'll show you how we're going to pour this. Once we pour this on the baklava, we're going to leave it for it to some time to soak in the baklava, because it has to go from the top layer until the bottom layer. Okay, so let me just grab the spoon and let's get started pouring the mixture. So here is the syrup, and this is how we're going to pour the syrup. It has to be soaked by all of the layers and make it nice and sticky. See, now you would say that cutting in the beginning it was the good idea, because as if we cut the Filo pastry after it's fully been baked, then it will just go in the air. So I have sprinkled the syrup on the top. Now I'm just pouring it the sides of it so that it gets soaked until the end. And there it is. Now we're just going to leave the baklava for some time to get completely soaked in it, and then I'll take one piece out and I'll show you how it looks in the middle. So let's just wait for it to complete and I'll be right back.